We've just been talking there about sustainable travel, locally staycations with the Jumeirah Group, but what about internationally? If you're looking for ethical travel that can help local communities, their wildlife, our next guest can help you with that. Chloe Evans organises trips with Wild Tracks, and she's here to tell us a little bit more. Now, you're a passionate advocate for the environment, and this has led you from working with animals to now preserving them. Tell us a little bit about your mission with Wild Tracks and where the idea came from.
Thanks for having me back, Helen.
Pleasure.
So Wild Tracks is basically about taking people from all different groups, ethnicities, cultures, whether they're small children, adults, etc., to really experience the need to protect wildlife. You know, the imminent fact is that possibly in 50 to 100 years, the next generation, they're not going to be able to experience animals in the wild. So Wild Tracks is all about hands-on conservation missions. So it's your typical safari, the nice lodges and, having a nice time in South Africa. But it's also about the actual hands-on veterinary work. So we're looking at dehorning rhinos, collaring lions, also going into the local communities as well to really see how that impact is affecting the whole ecosystem.
I want to hear a little bit more about those communities in a minute, but I just want to come back to your point there about dehorning rhinos. Why is that such a crucial aspect of what you're doing? Can you paint us a bit of a bigger picture about why this is a problem?
Yeah, definitely. So rhinos are critically endangered in the wild, and this is basically for their horns. And the horns are completely valueless. They're just keratin. It's the same as our fingernails and our hair. It grows back. It has no medicinal values, no status value. But unfortunately, over years, this is something that has been affecting them. And, this is why we need to do these protection initiatives. So basically, a dehorning is when you locate the rhino. We normally try and group them together so it's the least stress for the animal. And talking about sustainable travel, it's all about, making sure that our helicopter costs and veterinary costs, et cetera, are kept down. So basically what we do is we first of all, we dart the animal, and this is to give it like a tranquilizer, and it basically makes the animal go to the ground. Mm-hmm. And then when it's safe to do so, we go up to the rhino and we basically measure 2 to 3 centimetres from the root, because they still have some nerve endings there. So we don't want to harm or endanger the animal at all. And then we basically saw off at this point. And the aim is that every 12 to 18 months, this will grow back, but it acts as a deterrent for poachers. So they don't come and obviously hurt or kill the rhinos.
Can I ask how you choose to work with the communities? Because there's two aspects here. There's, supporting them on ground and making sure that they've got, great conditions in terms of working, but there's also the Sustainable Pact in terms of some of the projects that they're undergoing. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the people you're working with in Africa?
Yeah, so we work with some really great organisations. One of them is Wild Connections, and as part of the trip with Wild Tracks, you go at least for one day in the community. And this is to actually meet the people, help to educate them and make them aware of the impact of poaching and obviously the need to conserve the wildlife. We also support some initiatives here. So there's a group of ladies within one community, and they are actually collecting like plastic bags from the street, bin bags, bread bags, and they've created quite an initiative now where a lot of the community people are collecting these, and what they're doing is they're recycling them into things like hats, bath mats.
Wow.
They're really nice pieces, actually, and we take the groups there. They can obviously contribute back to the local community and economy by purchasing these. We also are connected with an organisation called the Battaliers, and these are a group of voluntary pilots, and they are doing some amazing projects such as, pangolin rescue missions. They're relocating animals to keep the genetic, diversity within the parks. Also working with the likes of Project Rhino and Rhino Art. So they actually go into the communities and they educate the children about the awareness of poaching and the need to protect rhinos. And they do these amazing competitions for the kids. They have to draw these little pictures of rhinos. And then if they win or they have a good concept, they actually get to go into the parks. Because a lot of these children, they don't actually have visited.
And this is the real point of interest, isn't it? It's in their community and it's in their country and their culture, but they might not have had that value understood the nature of the animal, and it all starts there with the children. And, as Brian was just talking there about the next generation. Can we talk about accommodation on ground when it comes to sustainability there? What's the space like? How eco-friendly are some of the lodges and the accommodation that you're working with?
Yeah, so all the accommodation is actually on the reserve. So usually, the 3 reserves we work with, they normally have it like a slight split. So one of them will be your big 5, so your what's seen as maybe dangerous animals, and then you have the game side, so giraffe, zebra, and you're literally living amongst them. It's great. All the accommodation is very eco-friendly, solar panels. They have load shedding in South Africa. I don't know whether that's a point to discuss or not, but this is also about being conscious about using electricity and the consumption. It's just about being at one with nature, so everyone is really conscious of what they're using and how.
And presumably lots of lovely local food as well.
Definitely. All locally sourced food. There's people from the communities are working in the accommodations with us, so you get to meet the chef, try some amazing South African cuisine. Milk tart is like my favourite dessert. It's really nice.
Chloe, can I ask you a little bit about the interest in this? Because I feel like and I hope this is true of a lot of people, our tastes are changing when it comes to travel, and that there is absolutely a place for lying on a beach and having a lovely time with a rubbish book, 100%. But I feel like we're starting to value our vacation leave a lot more. And maybe that's a reflection, post-pandemic, of thinking about, I want to travel, but I want to be getting something out of it as well, these experiences. What are you noticing when it comes to trends and interest?
Yeah, I think people nowadays are liking to see the direct impact they're having. So rather than, just putting their hard-earned money, like you say, in their hard-earned annual leave days, they want to see the value back. So when they go on these trips, they actually get to see with their eyes where their money is going, the impact they're having on the animals, the communities. And I think that's something that money just can't buy. It's such a special experience. And, instead of going to these kind of places where you see animals drugged or in cages, you're still getting the same experience that you get to see them in real life and up close and touch them and feel them. But it's for the best impact of them. It's to preserve them so their children can see them in 50 years' time.
I know you're working really hard on upcoming trips. Is there anything you can share now? Any dates for the diary for upcoming wild adventures with Wild Tracks?
Yeah, so our season is going to run from March to September next year. We've got around 14 trips booked in.
Wow.
But there's still lots of spaces available. We'll be releasing the date soon. These are going to be family-friendly trips, so with young children, also some over 40s trips with a little bit more of a relaxation and sundowners. We're hoping to take some school groups, also some teachers groups. So we're really focusing on like the Eid holidays, summer holidays when people are off.
Thank you so much for coming in and opening our eyes to what you're working on and thinking about sustainable travel in terms of what's happening on ground, but also that ethical travel, that feel-good factor as well. Now, if anyone wants to get in touch and find out more about the upcoming trips, find out more from Chloe, you just send me the word wild. I'll send you her Instagram, and then you'll be the first to know about what's on the agenda. And yeah, you mentioned March then. I've heard there's a very long break coming up at March. It's going to be Eid and spring break together. So
yeah.
You might be hearing from me, Chloe. Thank you so much. As I said, if you want to find out more about these initiatives, these upcoming travel, you're more than welcome to just send me the word wild, and I'll send you the details for Chloe Evans and Wild Tracks.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.